I'm going to do a video of my little worm farming operation here. Of course, what you're after is the worm castings. And this is a bucket full right here. There's a few seeds in there trying to sprout, but the worm castings, or worm poop, whatever you want to call it, it's very granular. You can put it in a spreader, but of course it's a very concentrated fertilizer, at least concentrated from an organic standpoint, and that's the end product. That's what you want. It's very light. There's no smell to it or anything, so that's what I'm after. And what I've got 3 trash cans here, and I take the compost out of my compost bins and I put it in here, and of course the worms will eat this newspaper. I try to keeps it from drying out too bad, but something that I see, a problem that I've had, is that if you put a lot of table scraps in here, it's too wet and it's real muddy, and you can't screen the castings out. So when I get ready to harvest, which I am now, I'll let it dry out some, and I'll stop feeding the worms, and they'll work themselves through all this soil, and they'll actually, since it's kind of dry on top, they've burrowed down in there. So if I dig down a little bit, you'll start to see them. These are red wigglers. That's the breed that's in this bin, and here you can see some of them. Of course, the wigglers tend to stay on top, so when I dig down in, the compost is not as nice. So what I'll do is I'll screen this today, and that'll force the worms to work on that stuff underneath. And here's another one. This is this bin is not as old. I started this about a year ago with one, and then added another. You see, I kept the lid off today to kind of let things dry out because I want to do some harvesting today. But if you dig down in here, you'll start finding the worms. And there again, I'm just drying it out on top, which of course is driving the worms down into the bottom. And this also is red wigglers. Over here, I've got Alabama jumpers, and I love these guys. These guys really multiply fast. This is the newest bin, but these guys have multiplied so fast. They're not as fussy about whether it's dry or wet, or they eat about anything. This is, I put some shredded mail in there, and unfortunately there was some plastic windows that got shredded up, so I got to pick all that stuff out. But anyway, these guys have just gone crazy, and you dig down in there, and it is just, these guys they've really done well. You see, there's just worms everywhere. There's a couple. Worms do mate underground. There's a couple of them right there mating. So I used to think that worms had to be on the surface to do any mating, but they don't. They'll get together underneath. And so, but you see the number of worms in here. This bin is only maybe 3 months old. 3 or 4 months, and I started out with maybe 100 worms, and they've just multiplied. And this is over the winter, and they've just multiplied like crazy. And over here, I've got Canadian night crawlers, and I put about 100 in here. This is just a few months ago, and you can see they're making babies. There's lots of juveniles in here. Those are the adults. You can see they're eating this newspaper. But this bin has really come along. It's not ready to be harvested yet. It needs more time. But you see there's a lot of juveniles in there, and they're doing real well. Look at them. They're happy campers. Nice big fat happy worms. So, but to show you how I do my harvesting, I've got a screen here. 1/8" screen, and what I do, I just take a scoop And excuse me, put it up on top here, and I just kind of roll it around. The worms don't go through, and the bigger debris doesn't fall through, but the castings will, and some eggs do too. But it all ends up in the garden. It's all good. So I don't bother to sort the eggs out if any eggs do fall through. So, but that's what I do. I just kind of flip it around, let the castings fall through, and there's a pan. Let me move this. There's a pan underneath here that I got from Lowe's, and that's the castings falling through. So what I'll do is dry those out, dry the castings so they're not sticky, and I just put them out in the sun for a couple hours, and I'll pour this in a separate bin and put it back in the trash can. And so I'll just harvest out that top 8 inches or so of the dry material, and then put these guys back in there. This is not ready. This is not. There's still some good food left in there, so they can do some more eating on that. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Talk to you later. Bye.